foul. That was absolutely ridiculous.
The Boston Bruins have won the Stanley Cup.
Up on down. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series.
I don't know. It's tough. Tom's up there, man.
Beecham.
Well, I've been a fan of Boston Celtics for, my whole life pretty much.
First Celtics game was back when I was like 7.
The Boston Celtics became legendary.
What is going on YouTube? It's boy Jayson here on YouTube and from Beecham Takes. We are back again with another video, and by the time this video comes out here, we will be in New York City. And by the time this video comes out, it will be game day at Madison Square Garden for the Knicks versus the Celtics. Now, we have a request here from one of my subscribers, wanted me to react to this. Jayson Tatum on how to make the All-Star Weekend better. Very interesting. It's a very big topic right now because the Eastern Conference scored over 200 points in the All-Star game. And I believe there was over 400 points scored between the East and the West. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what Jayson Tatum has to say and why he feels like All-Star Weekend is at its lowest point right now and what can they do to make it better. I kind of like the Kobe Bryant rule that they added in there. I kind of feel like it added somewhat excitement in there. Maybe they should go back to it. Maybe they don't. Maybe for the All-Star Weekend for like the dunk contest, maybe they add incentives winning the dunk contest, like you win like $1 million or like $500K, something like that, so on and so forth, to get all-stars in the dunk contest. I think the skills competition should go back to the way it used to be a long time ago, or even when they did it in 2019 when they did the matchups. That was a great one. That was a great one. Tatum heaved up a half-court shot to win the skills competition. That one was awesome. But yeah, man, All-Star Weekend, not that big of a buzz. Not that big of a buzz. It should be. Hopefully they fix it by the time it comes here in Boston, because I would love to go there and give you guys footage from All-Star Weekend. So we're going to see what Kenny Beckham, a.k.a. King of the Fourth Quarter on YouTube. He's interviewing Jayson Tatum in this one. I can't wait to watch this podcast. I can't wait. Leave a thumbs up if you guys enjoy these videos. Subscribe now if you guys new. You guys know what to do. Go check our website. The link's in the description down below. Without further ado, let's hop straight into this video.
I want to thank the presenting sponsor of today's episode, SoFi. SoFi is now the official bank of the NBA. Yep, that's right. This was just announced. The next generation of banking is joining the league to help fans get their money right. We got a ton of awesome things planned, including today's episode where I interview 5-time NBA All-Star Jayson Tatum at All-Star Weekend. So today we're going to talk about personal finance and managing money to...
For a second, I jumped, I dunked it, and I don't know what came over me to chest bump him and yell at him. Probably wasn't smart they came back and beat us. But that was something, you know, that moment. I have that picture in my house. I always remember that.
First of all, I'm going to say shout out to SoFi for setting everything up. This is a beautiful, beautiful event. It's about to be the biggest and the best episode of the Kenny Beecham podcast for a few reasons. One, we're live in Indianapolis for All-Star Weekend. Two, we're celebrating SoFi being the official bank of the NBA. And three, we got Jayson Tatum on the show. How you doing, bro?
Oh, man, appreciate you having me.
Yeah.
Of course. Everybody at home that's watching this post, remember, SoFi is the official bank of the NBA, and they're teaming up with the league to help fans get their money right. So when this was announced a few days ago, you were everywhere. It was CBS Sports. It was Bleacher Report. Talk to me about how this came to be.
Yeah, so we got, I had the privilege this past week of going on CBS Good Morning and kind of officially announcing the partnership with the NBA, as well as my partnership and what we were doing, my foundation.
That's really cool.
And it was really an honor, right, to announce what we were doing. And like she said earlier, the idea of partnering with somebody who your beliefs and ideas align with, really meant the world to me.
Generational Wealth Fund. What does that mean to you?
What does that mean to me? The idea that $1 million, right, in trying to achieve generational wealth, like you said, the first key component to that is being a homeowner. And I understand how firsthand how tough that can be. Growing up in a single parent household, didn't understand the idea of, saving money. My mom, lived check to check trying to make ends meet. So now that I'm in a position where I can take care of myself and my family, I want to impact and help, people that look like me, people that came from the same environment that I did, and help change their lives and also help educate them so they can help educate others.
And why SoFi?
Because SoFi, their ideas align with mine, right? Helping your money work for you, and trying to change the community is, more important than anything else that we could do.
You're living a dream, brother. There's millions of kids that would love to be
Look at JT, man. He's humbly the most humble guy in the NBA.
Oh, okay. I see what you did there.
At only 19, by the way.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. How can you hate on Jayson Tatum? You must be a really, really bad person if you hate on this guy. That's all I gotta say.
In your spot. Is being in the NBA exactly what you imagine?
Yeah. It is. I'm very blessed to be in the position that I am. To, as a young kid, set out dreams and goals and aspirations and slowly but surely accomplish each one step by step. It's a surreal feeling living out your dreams in real time. And I'm very grateful, right, and thankful that I had, my parents, my mom, who believed in me, supported me, put me in the right positions to help me achieve my goal. Everybody that helped me along the way, I'm eternally grateful for that. But to wake up every day and play basketball for a living and travel the world and get to meet and be a part of things like this, even though I dreamed about it, it's so much better now could I ever imagine.
No kidding.
What's a underrated aspect of your life now that as a kid you didn't think about being something that would be so cool?
I mean, it's kind of funny, right? Everybody has problems, right? No matter how successful or unsuccessful you are. But I just think about like the little things I don't worry about, like gas money.
Yeah.
I used to go to CVS and call my mom and say, how much is on this card? Can I get one of this? And now, if I want to buy 7 bottles of soap, I can.
Just do it. Just do it. Don't have to worry about it.
Really cool.
I know it's not all perfect, though. It is a job. What is the worst part about being an NBA player?
Oh.
Ooh.
You don't get much privacy.
True.
Everywhere you go, people recognize you, and which means you're doing something right. But there are tough moments where I may be on vacation with my son, or I'm taking him to the park, and I just want to be a dad. I want to be normal in those settings, and it's tough. And I understand it, right? If I was a kid and I saw my favorite player, I would want a picture. I would want an autograph. I would want to ask him a question. So from that standpoint, when it's kids, I never bothered by that. But it's tough, the balance of, Deuce, he doesn't know that I'm Jayson Tatum. He just that's my dad, and I want to spend time with him and do those things. So balancing that
time and a place
can be tough.
to ask for a picture, ask for an autograph.
But that's about it.
On this journey from childhood to playing at Duke, NBA player, were you always thinking about financial literacy, or was there a moment in time you're like, I need to really start caring about the money aspect of the job?
Yeah, I would say throughout. My mom, right? I give so much credit to her. She believed in me way before I ever did in myself. And we would always have conversations of, son, when you get your first paycheck, what are you going to do with it? And to be honest, when I was 12, I don't know, go buy a car, get a new house, get some jewelry.
Yeah.
But, having those conversations of, you know what, when you get to the NBA, we're going to save all our NBA money. We're going to live off our endorsements, right?
So smart.
NBA, the lifespan of NBA players is only 3 to 4 years, right? And, if I'm fortunate enough to play 10 more years, that'd be 17. But then I'll be 35, and you still have the rest of your life to navigate through that. So, my mom didn't have all the answers, but she put in my mind early that, we were going to do things the right way. We were going to be put in a position where we could take care of ourselves and our family, and for my kids and grandkids and great grandkids to make sure that they are in a situation where they can achieve whatever they want to achieve.
I'm gonna swing over to Duke, because I read somewhere that Jabari Parker was the reason you ended up at Duke. Now, I'm from Chicago. When Jabari was graduating, I was like in my sophomore year, so I knew what he was doing over at Simeon and stuff. But when I was doing my research, it was just a surprising name to be that impactful to you going to Duke. And why was that?
Well, from a basketball standpoint, Jabari Parker in high school was the best player in high school.
Yeah.
In college, his freshman year, they didn't necessarily do well as a team as they would have liked, but he was as good as it got. From what I saw, 6'8", 6'9", could essentially do everything on the floor. And, I was always a student of the game. My favorite players, I would watch their interviews and things like that, and how well-spoken he was, right? Won Gatorade National Player of the Year, and, that award encompasses, the things you do in the community, obviously what you do on a basketball court, and what you do in the classroom. And, those were the guys I wanted to look up to. And the 1 year that he had to do, from an individual standpoint, was extremely impressive. So I just kind of saw myself following that path of, wanting to be like him while he was at school.
And y'all ended up being teammates for a little bit in Boston a few years ago. Did you ever tell him that he was the reason? How was that?
For sure. Jabari, great guy. He was kind of like taken back. Obviously because, things didn't necessarily pan out, but he's a great guy, great person. He was a great teammate. And I let him know, like when he got there, that, man, I appreciate you from a distance, the things that you did for me, inspiring me, obviously, because I wanted to, in a lot of ways, follow in your footsteps. And for the most part, I went to Duke because of you.
Duke has had a lot of legendary players. I'm gonna put you on the spot. You've probably been asked this before. Starting 5 Duke players, former Duke players.
I mean, it's tough because is it what you did at Duke? Because I was only there for like 9 months.
It's a good 9 months.
Good 9 months.
Good 9 months. And you can interpret it as you may. It could be what they did the entire hooping career or just their Duke career, either way.
Well, I would, in the most humble way possible, say just everybody that came from Duke, I would put myself in the starting 5.
I don't think nobody can argue with that.
No.
Kyrie Irving.
Yep.
He didn't play many games there.
Grant Hill.
Yep.
I should have said his name first. Kyrie Irving, myself, Grant Hill. Shane Battier. And JJ Redick.
Okay, word. I was waiting to see if JJ was gonna make the list. So y'all running pretty small then.
Positionless basketball.
It's 2024, right?
Yeah, right.
From my research, your final 4 before you ended up at Duke was Duke, Kentucky, UNC, and St. Louis.
No Zion Williamson. That's crazy.
Duke and UNC, they kind of hate each other, right? How do you embody that rivalry with them being 2 of your final 4 teams going into college?
And from my personal experience, I wouldn't necessarily say hate. It's just a really competitive rivalry that happens to be one school is 30 minutes from the other. And they've had a lot of success as a team. They've had a lot of great individual players. They've had some great coaches. And I think it's great for college basketball.
Right.
I didn't hate North Carolina when I was there. I didn't feel that tension. Obviously, we want to beat them. It's a big deal. It's the biggest rivalry in college basketball.
Right.
But I wouldn't say hate is the right word. It's a healthy level of high competition basketball.
I'm going to get to the draft because that year draft was stacked. Your Boston Celtics ended up trading down from the first overall pick, ended up taking you. Did you know the Celtics was the team?
I had no idea.
Okay.
I had no idea.
Did you prefer it that way? Because I talked to Nyeka Congo of the Atlanta Hawks. He said he turned his phone off from his agent. He didn't want to know nothing. He wanted to go completely blind.
Oh, no, I wanted to know.
No, he crazy?
I mean, the anticipation was killing me.
Okay. Yeah.
But, draft, leading up to the draft, it's hard to explain. I started playing basketball as early as I can remember. I was 3 or 4. I got drafted at 19. That's essentially 16 years of working towards a goal. And I understand it's a part of growing up in the real world. But to wait on something for 16 years and it's a week away, it's 3 days away, it's the next morning.
You think? I already know what he's gonna say. He's probably gonna say, "You just think to yourself, oh my God, this is actually happening. I can't believe I worked this hard to get to where I am, and now look at me. I'm actually gonna get drafted." That's where you get your "I'm him" moment, because at that moment there, that's when the hard work pays off. But that doesn't mean the hard work stops there, though. That means you got to push yourself to be the best player that you can be. Jayson Tatum's put in the time. He's put in the work. He's accomplished a lot in his young career so far. And now he's chasing for an NBA championship. And the way he's been playing this year and the way the team's been playing this year, I feel like is a possibility it could happen.
It was unlike anything. And then to hear my name called, that was the best day of my life, hands down. It was the day that all my dreams came true.
So how do you not become complacent? You said 16 years working towards this goal. If I work 16 years for something and I got it, I'm pretty cool. So how do you go from that, being drafted 3rd overall, to now being a 5-time All-Star? What's the drive?
Again, I give a lot of credit to my mom. I think the environment that I grew up in, right? Well, we might not have had the material things. I was surrounded by love and support. So making it to the NBA was never about driving fancy cars or having a lot of money. Right. It was because Kobe Bryant was my favorite player. He was my idol, and I loved the game of basketball. And I understood how Kobe Bryant impacted my life, how he inspired me from thousands of miles away, even though we had never met. And it was a part of me that I wanted to do that. I wanted to make it to the NBA where I could inspire the next Jayson Tatum, regardless of if he's going to be an NBA player or not, just to inspire somebody to do something that they never thought was attainable.
Right.
So making it to the NBA was the ultimate goal. But then I slowly realized that I wanted to get better. I wanted more. And it was never about, just being rich and famous.
I want to give a huge thanks to today's sponsor, SoFi. SoFi is now the official bank of the NBA. The next generation of banking is joining the league to help fans get their money right. I'm excited to partner with them all season long because we got some big giveaway, which is 10 savings account deposit when you sign detail. Here, and we'll get to you need to do is 30 enter 0.
Celtics were a really good team the year you were drafted. I think they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Did you feel pressure to join that roster after making a really deep playoff run? Because you came in, you started immediately.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been on record saying this. I didn't think I was going to play. Yeah. We had such a good team. First in the East the year before. We just got Gordon Hayward that summer. Kyrie Irving a few months later. I was 19. I was weighed 200 pounds, if that. There was no certainty in my mind I was going to play. But I would say everything worked out.
Gordon Hayward was on Podcast P. He said when he signed with the Celtics, the idea Danny Ainge threw to him is that him and Kyrie were going to hold it down while you and JB got better and better, and eventually y'all take over. Obviously, things didn't go that way. He got injured. Kyrie was in and out of the lineup. When you were thrust into being kind of like the star of the team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals as a rook, did you and JB talk about, man, this is our chance?
That year?
Yeah.
No.
To be honest, I was ignorant. It was my first year in the NBA. I went to the Game 7 to play against LeBron. Yeah. One game away from the finals. In many ways, I thought this was supposed to happen.
Right.
And I quickly realized how hard it is to get to that point and how hard we had to work as a team to get there. And you quickly learn through experiences, just through years in the NBA. So no, I wouldn't say at that moment that I could visualize or I knew. But I quickly realized that as if I got older and my game continued to grow, that I could be something special in this league.
Your very first shot as an NBA player on record was blocked by LeBron.
It was.
It was blocked by LeBron. What is going through your mind as a teenager still at that time to go against Bron and have that first shot blocked?
After he blocked it?
Yeah.
I was oh, shit. I don't know, man. It was It was Kyrie's first game back. The energy, the environment was crazy. I was nervous all day. My first NBA game, I'm playing against LeBron. And as a basketball player, you know, everybody's going to be nervous, and especially that game. And you're just praying, you're hoping that your first shot goes in. And a complete opposite happened with me. So I had a rough first half. I didn't score, but I played well in the second half.
Five-time All-Star now. It's all good. You also, later in that season, you talk about how you were going against LeBron in the Eastern Conference Finals. You got him back. You dunked. How was that moment? You go from being blocked by him your first game to dunking on him later in that season.
Yeah, tale of two stories.
That's when you knew he was him.
And it felt like two different seasons, right? October 18th, and then fast forward, it was May 30th of 2018. So 8-9 months later, I just felt like a totally different player.
Right.
I had experienced so much in that 9 months, and to go against him in the Game 7, right? To go to the NBA Finals. I don't know. I drove to the lane. I kind of blacked out for a second. I jumped, I dunked it, and I don't know what came over me to chest bump him and yell at him. Probably wasn't smart. They came back and beat us.
Right.
But that was something, you know, that moment. I have that picture in my house. I'll always remember that.
I'm going to switch back to finances. What about the way money is managed do you want to kind of say to the next generation, the younger people in the community?
There's really like so many misconceptions about finance and about money. And there's a lot of things that it's kind of like you don't know what you don't know, right? And for me, I didn't know about a savings account growing up. My mom didn't have a savings account. And to the next person, that might just be second nature. But there's a lot of kids that grew up, you know, the same way that I did. And there's a lot of people that think like, oh, as soon as you get drafted, when you walk on the stage, they just direct deposit millions of dollars into your pocket.
Right.
And it's like, it couldn't be any further from the truth.
Right.
So just to kind of have those talks and educate people and to teach how you can have your money work for yourself, right? Saving, investing in the right things is important.
You said that Michael Jordan himself, he picks out Team Jordan, handpicked. What's that moment like when Jordan or Team Jordan hits you up and say, Mike wants you on the roster?
I mean, it's the ultimate sign of respect. It's the greatest player to ever play. You know, after my second season in the league, to kind of get that call to transition from Nike over to Team Jordan brand, to eventually turn into having my own signature shoe, to now we're on the second one that comes out next week or in 2 weeks. And then, you know, to get to meet him. And
Hey, Tatum, I need a white and green Celtics colorway. Can you do that for me, please? I'll buy them.
Relationship
You have my
with him,
word on
talk
it.
to him. You know, he's the GOAT. He's, you know, everything you could imagine that he is.
Okay, so we're from Chicago, and Jordan there, and I guess in the whole NBA world, he's like this mythical figure.
Yeah.
When we were in Cleveland, when they did the NBA 75 and everybody was there, like I'm in the arena, section 200, Mike comes out, and I felt everything shift. Is it like that, like every time you see him?
Every single time. He has that aura about him where, you know, the energy in the room just gravitates towards him, regardless of whoever else is in the room. Large crowd, small, intimate crowd like this. He doesn't even have to say anything. He just walks in, and it's like you just know. You know he's there. But he's one of the coolest people that you could meet. You know, super down to earth, has all the great stories, and still super competitive to this day.
You mentioned the JT2s coming out in a few weeks. I also heard you say that the JT3s are almost done.
Yeah.
What's the process like of having your own signature sneaker? How much of it are you in on?
Very involved, very invested. And I think the consumer, they can tell when you put in the time and the effort to see this idea transform into a reality. It's really an 18-month process. Each shoe, from the day that, you know, you first come up with the design to the day it comes to retail, is an 18-month process. So that's why, you know, a third of the way through, you know, the Tatum 1, you know, the Tatum 2 is done, and now the Tatum 3 is done, and we're talking about the Tatum 4, but the Tatum 2 still hasn't come out yet. So it's just a cycle you just have to keep up with.
Damn.
So Ren, before we get out of here, I want to hit you with some rapid fire questions. All right. The first one: how much do you think about your personal finance?
How much?
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day.
Honestly, every day.
Growing up on your journey to the league, who was an underrated hooper who gave you trouble?
Like before I got to the NBA?
In the NBA, before you got to the NBA, anytime. Just like you had trouble stopping this play.
Honestly, the first person it was my first preseason game, 2017. I played against the Hornets, and Nicholas Batum was on the Hornets.
Dude.
And people might not have guessed his name, but
yeah.
That was kind of like besides LeBron, that was my like first welcome to the NBA moment.
So me and the guys always talk about Nick Batum because he's one of the players in the league that catches with no dip and gets a shot up, and we just admire that. Like we don't hoop like y'all, but like the idea of just catching and no matter where you got it and you get it up. So it's cool to hear his name. What is the first thing you bought when you felt like you made it?
Ooh. I felt like I made it. I bought myself a Range Rover.
Okay.
Not gonna lie, I did.
We always see and hear the stories about rookie duties. I remember when Romeo Langford was on your squad. I think Marcus Smart sent him to Chipotle, and the price was $4,000. Did you have rookie duties, and what were they?
Honestly, I would have to like bring soap on the road, so I would put in a locker like 4 bottles of soap so that the guys could use it. And I would have to pass out towels after practice and after the game.
So he was a towel boy?
But that was it. And then shout out to our equipment guy, Andy. Halfway through the season, when I started trending upward, Andy started taking care of the soap for me.
He's that guy.
So,
you don't need to soap no more.
Right.
The very last question. Something I think a lot of fans would like to see eventually. One-on-one tournament, 3 dribbles. Who would win that tournament if everybody in the NBA was in it?
Even like the big man?
Yeah. I mean, Joel Embiid with 3 dribbles can put in that work.
I know. So it's like boxing. You got to have like a weight class.
Would you like to see it guards, forwards, and then bigs or something like that?
Yeah, because you don't want to see like Embiid play against Steph Curry.
Right, okay. So let's break it up. The guard winner.
So I would say like 6'5" and under.
Okay.
6'1" and 6'5".
Who wins that division if it's 6'5" and under?
Kyrie's tough to beat.
That's what I thought you were going to say. I ain't going to lie. What about the forward division?
Myself.
Expected that too. In the big position?
I mean, I would give it to Embiid.
Embiid, yeah.
But I think people would love to see that.
Yeah.
I would be all for one-on-one tournament All-Star Weekend.
Sylvia, you heard that. We need to make it happen. We need to make it happen. Can we get a round of applause for Jayson Tatum? And again, shout out to SoFi for setting this up. Tatum, of course, the newest member of Team SoFi, the official bank of the NBA.
That was very different than what I thought it was going to be. I thought they were going to talk about the All-Star game itself, his career, and all that, so on and so forth. They kind of talked about, like, the new branding between the NBA and SoFi. Some good points there from Tatum, though. Talking about, like, his experience when he was a rookie in the league, how he expected not to play because Gordon Hayward was here, so on and so forth. And then talking about where he had his welcome to the NBA moments with like LeBron blocking him on I think it was a dunk he said. Then Batum lighting him up. It's moments like that where a player gets a fire lit under them to say, okay, I need to grind, I need to get better. I can't let this happen to me again. And as far as no questions from the 2022 finals, I feel like there was a few missed opportunities here. I feel like there was a couple missed opportunities for some questions here. And then I also thought that they were going to add in like what they could do better for the All-Star game, dunk contest, three-point contest. I think three-point contest is fine right now, and then the skills challenge. But let me know what you guys think of this video down below. Leave thumbs up if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe now if you guys are new. You guys know what to do. Go check out the website. The link's in the description down below. It's been your boy Jesse, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later, guys.